Okay.
It's just
Let me.
life. Life is lifing.
Yes, it is.
Greetings, peace and power, good people, peace and power, family. Peace, sister, pretty P. Greetings, mamas. Thank you, sweetheart. We are here. Um, we are here, and I'm glad that you are here representing the younger sisters in this chat today. So, just before we get started, I just want to thank those again who will come in now to the live, and also just to thank you all in advance for those who will watch the replay later. How are you, Sister Crystal?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. I am well. I don't know what I did. Hold on. Yeah,
It's
I don't
me.
know if it's okay. I don't know if it's streaming live on YouTube, Facebook or
Let me
not. 'Cause
take a look.
I don't know what I did, but
We're gonna check it out.
I think I started talking and did something. But if it's not there, don't worry. Come here. I'm here. That's for sure. I see the little check at the top, so I guess it's working.
Yeah, we're on YouTube for sure.
Okay, so we're on YouTube. We know that much. So again, it's been a day, sis. It's been a day. So all right. It has been a day. So what we're going to be talking about today is sisterhood in the Black community and how it impacts our wellness. So that is where we are, and we have a clip that we want to start with because this is a topic. Whew,
Uh-oh. Ready?
it's kind of like you just want to exhale on that one, but we're going to
Oh,
start with this clip. Yes.
okay.
To me, sisterhood is the intuitive wisdom to know that together as women, when we stand together, when we work together, when we put our minds together, the force that we create is strong enough to change the world and to realize the vision that we each have for ourselves, for our sisters, for our daughters, and for our mothers.
Sisterhood to me is all about a divine connection. It's unlike any other thing out there. When women come together to support each other, to listen to each other, and to connect for a change, amazing things happen. And when I think about some of the great women in my life, I've just watched them help me come full circle so that I can be a better woman for the children that I'm going to have and the other people who are looking out to me. So sisterhood is definitely, it is a power like no other.
Sisterhood for me is all about support. I think there's so many stories out there, horror stories of women not supporting women, and you seeing a woman and the first thing you do is have to sort of check yourself because you're expecting that automatically she wouldn't like you. Sisterhood is showing up, supporting your sister, being there, being a listening ear, and going through that door, but not shutting the door behind you, but leaving it open for those who also have dreams to be what you are and aspire to do what you do as well. A big believer of saying be your brother's keeper and your sister's guide. So sisterhood is all about the guide. You have to guide your sisters. If you see your sister going astray, correct with love, support with love, show up in love, and stand in love. That's what sisterhood means to you.
Sisterhood is fighting together. It's understanding that not everybody has the same opportunities, and so lending a helping hand. It's helping somebody else succeed because you know that when they succeed, you succeed. So for me, sisterhood is it's working together. It's oneness. You're different, but you're one.
Sisterhood to me means understanding, it means support, it means coming together even in times where you might not exactly feel comfortable, but knowing that the other person does need you, and you just want to lend a helping hand. Sisterhood is like being a sister. You would do anything for your sister because you love her, you believe in her, and I feel like women should just come together to always help each other out. We have very, by nature, I feel like we easily kind of go against each other, but we have to actually fight against that to come together and be one. So let's do that.
When I think of sisterhood, I think squad. I think my team, my backup. I have 3 sisters, and my goodness, that's knowing that I have these 3 ladies scattered across the world that I can reach out to no matter the time and no matter the situation. I know that wherever they are, they will just come and be there for me. It's absolutely everything. Sisterhood is everything.
Well,
Hmm.
well. All right. So, as promised, greetings, family. Thank you all for tuning in. We do see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to get this thing started. I know we have so much that we want to cover, but we want to try to keep it within a reasonable time so that we don't take up too much of your time. This isn't something that we can usually just cover in one show, but we need to get started. So, the obvious question, or what I took from that, is the so to not see each other as competition, to not see each other in some ways as disposable. And we'll get more into that as we go on. Um, we know that it starts in childhood. We have a few things that we're going to talk about related to trauma as well. Sis, why do you think it is that Black women have such a difficult time just getting along at the foundation, just getting along with each other? Why do you think
Go.
that's a struggle?
And my Wi-Fi is, I don't know why. You know, here we go. This is an important topic. So what happens? The Wi-Fi
That's when
starts
it happens
messing around.
every time.
I may
Every time.
try my phone instead of the laptop. I don't know why it does it every time.
Okay.
What was your
Okay.
question again?
Whatever
I'm
you need to
sorry.
do. No, I said whatever you need to do. But the question was, why do you think it's so difficult for us to get along? Let's just start there. Why is it such a struggle for Black women?
I do think you said, trauma, and then I think it was Angela Davis that said we're cultured to compete instead of,
Mhm.
work together. And it's like one
Mhm.
of the sisters said in there, we always sizing each other up. And so I think because we live in this assimilated world,
Mhm.
we still, it's now it's just a part of society now is
Yeah.
to compete and against, each other. And I don't know. When I was growing up, I think it was more of a bond between women. I think
Mhm.
because we had to be united in everything. So I know assimilation and unresolved trauma
Mhm.
um, is a big part of it,
Mhm.
because we want to be just like them, and we don't realize that how dysfunctional they are. I'm reading in the read book
By
group. We're reading,
nature.
yeah, we're reading They Were Her Property, and I'm telling you, y'all think
Mm.
the white man is something. Y'all don't even know his counterpart is a beast in herself.
She's the worst.
Hmm.
Worse than he is, and
Yeah.
that's a fact. And you said something that I was going to touch on when with my ideas on that, and that is basically in modern times, I don't think Black women get along the way that we should, is because then there was a need to. You had to depend on your sister,
Hmm.
for so many reasons to survive. Most importantly, you needed her for that. You needed her to help in many ways as far as survival. Sometimes something could have happened, you couldn't nurse your child, she might nurse your child for you. Survival on a mental capacity, on a mental level, which is something I think women should get back to, with regard to, let's just say, if you're in a relationship, sometimes there are things that you can't necessarily, or you shouldn't necessarily go to your man for, because he has his role, right?
Hmm.
He has a certain energy that he needs to maintain to operate properly in his role. And that's where the sisterhood should step in. If you have those issues, you have those, I guess, not emotional burdens or concerns or expressions, you should be able to go to your sister with that. But within a conversation that I had a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, actually, with a sister, she was sharing how she tried that. She tried, and she would normally go to her significant other and talk about things that were going on at work or with her friends, and he would kind of shun it or tune her out. But he's a man, so his mind isn't thinking like that. When you tell him that, the first thing he's thinking is fix it. But a woman
Mhm.
is going to engage with you on an emotional level. She's going to listen. So she was sharing, yeah, I tried that one time. I did that, and she slept with my man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like, I'm not saying those things didn't happen in previous times, but now it's so prevalent. But it goes back to that trauma, women being raised to literally compete with other Black women, to the point where when daughters get a certain age, I've seen situations where they'll turn against their own daughters because now you're, blossoming or whatever, and I feel aged. And that video I sent you the other day of the woman in the green and the leprechaun, whatever, and they, these are 56, probably they look like
Yes.
60-year-old women out there doing things that we would expect to see 16-year-olds doing,
Mhm.
competing with them instead of being in a position to teach them, to guide them to better. They were engaging in high level morality, immorality, let's just say that. So I think that is a big thing too. And so within, well, I would say now, not so much as before, because we really know we can get into all that, but we talked about this on a previous show. So we know that a lot of it comes from trauma, a lot of it comes from childhood. Um, we have a lot of sisters who are suffering from different types of mental diseases, mental disabilities, etc., stresses, all the things that we're going through in our life. And because we don't have that sisterhood, we don't have that community to build with, um, it leads to further destruction within our family, further destruction or breakdown in that relationship between our spouses or our significant others, our children, specifically our daughters. But yet you have Black women who are competing, like you said, to assimilate or to be like other women, other races of women who don't, they get along in a better way. At least they will build with each other. Going back to that post that I shared, I don't have to like you or you don't have to like me to build with me. We have this mentality. We got to like her. We got to get along with her. Oh, she this and oh, she's that. We'll put somebody down before we try to figure out how we can learn from this person and build with them. So, um, what do we need to do, sis? What do we need to do?
Well, I think, there was a book I read last year, I think it was, and it was The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health. And one of the things that really stood out to me in her writing was that, we are a tribal people, we are community minded people. And the more we move away from our Africanness, the worse our behavior becomes. And so that made me pull out a book, the book
Mm-hmm.
Africana Womanism.
Mm-hmm.
And in there, she discusses the 18 tenets of the African womanist. And the chapter starts off with this, and I know Amos Wilson says it as well, but the quote says, "Definitions belong to the definers, not the defined." And that was in Toni Morrison's book, who I have her shirt on,
Mm-hmm. I see. I see.
Beloved. And so yeah, so I think and one of the tenets is genuine sisterhood. And so I think, we had to define what that means, what that looks like, seriously, because I think um as we evolve and as you grow, sisterhood starts meaning different things throughout your journey, your life experience. Most of us, if you are college uh, educated, most of us belong to sororities, and that's a different type of sisterhood than if you are in the church culture. That's a different type of sisterhood. If you are in, in uh, in a community organization,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the links or things like that.
Yeah.
So sisterhood is different things in different spaces and places in your life. And as I grow older and experience life, I find myself having different expectation of sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Organic, genuine, like she says in the book, genuine sisterhood. Like, I don't have to talk to you every day. I think sometimes we get these things misconstrued.
Yeah.
What is sisterhood? Seriously, is it a positive word? Is it buying into foolishness, or is not holding you accountable? Things of that nature. So I think what we need to do, as Mama Clenora says, is define these things for us and our experiences, not based on what other women of other cultures and ethnicities do, but based on our unique experience in this country. Um, you know, when you posted the video today, I really started reflecting on the women in my life and thinking about what they did as far as sisterhood. I
Mhm.
have a biological sister, and thinking about their relationship with her. What does that look like? My friends. What does that look like? Um, and then I always think about the elders and those that sisterhood there too. So yeah, so I think it depends on where you are in life. Um, and what type of sisterhood you want. If you don't, like Toni Morrison said, if you don't see what you need, you create it. So,
That's right, Shay.
yeah. So, just this topic really had me thinking and reflecting on some things. My experiences. What do I need in as far as sisterhood at this stage in my life as well? What do I want to impart on the younger generation in their
Mhm.
journey? Because I think that's really not what I see in the younger generation. I saw somebody make a post. Um, Brother said, "Be independent is not being an independent woman is not a flex." And somebody said, "Yes, it is." And I said, "No, it's not. Sir, it's certainly not African." Um,
At
and
all.
so, it's not African at all being independent. That's something that we don't even shouldn't even think about, because we are a village, we are a culture, we are a community people, and just like you said earlier, we don't have to be the best of friends, or you
Mhm.
don't have to like me, but we still have to be unified in our movement in that. So yeah, but I'm really um at this stage of my life, I'm really focusing on genuine and righteousness and organic,
Mhm.
um, and really, wanting to bring out the best in anyone that I commune with. I know I said a lot because it's a lot. It's a deep question that I think that
Yeah.
we really need to look at and really be genuine and
Yeah.
righteous in how we answer it and how we act on it.
And I just recall, absolutely, sis. I agree 100% with everything you said. I remember when we first met. That's one of the first things you said to me. You said, "I'm just really focused on genuine sisterhood." And what was even more profound is that you said something really, really powerful, and that is, if you don't, see the sisterhood that you need, you have to create it, and also that it changes at different stages of our life, and that's very true. Peace, family. That's my sister on there. Peace,
Right.
everybody. Peace, Cherie. Everybody, how y'all doing?
That's
So,
right.
um, and I just powerful. Everything you said was so powerful, and we do have some resources we're going to share. I see Doc, Brother Craig Samuel's on. I
Yes.
have a couple of excerpts from his book that I want to share because and as we get into that, talking about how misery loves company, a lot of times, when you were talking about how we have to create sisterhoods, a lot of times with Black women, because of that trauma, because of what Dr. Samuels coins as a developmental trauma disorder. Because of that, a lot of women tend to seek out women who are just as damaged as they are. So they build these sisterhoods that are based on really on trauma bonds. So it's hard for them uh, to engage in what you said, those genuine sisterhoods. They're not used to that. So it doesn't but it calls them to a level of accountability that most just aren't ready for.
Mhm.
And I say ready for because accountability requires what? It requires you to accept the truth of yourself and to change. And to change means you're going to be uncomfortable, sisters, but that's okay. Uncomfortability is what we need more than anything because some of us don't move. Okay, we don't move the way that we need to as far as raising our daughters properly, our sons being better examples, as Sister Crystal said, for the younger sisters, figuring out how we need to move so that we are setting better examples. Um, and with that said, we talked about a little bit on how sororities, how that's a different type of sisterhood. And even in the communities, and there's even a sisterhood, the gang culture. You got to think
Mm-hmm.
about that. Some sisters
Mm-hmm.
were raised in certain environments. So when you try to mesh those two together, it's going to be a clash, of course, but it's not impossible. I've
Right.
seen it happen. I personally was not born with a silver spoon, have had to struggle through things. And where my mother couldn't be there were sisters, elders in the community step up, who did show me some things. There were some who taught me what not to do, but either way, they taught me. And I had to be receptive to that. So we'll get more no issue. Think you all can still hear me. I have the computer on, so I want to make sure that I'm moving on that one, so that I know if you all can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is it clear, sis?
Yeah, you went out for a minute. I don't know if it's me or you. Woo. Yeah.
It's probably both. It's just this the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I told you if we were talking about some old ratchet stuff, we wouldn't have any connection
Right.
issues. We might have
Man,
some
what?
theme
Oh.
music popping in. But this is the book that I was speaking of earlier, family. It is called Misery and the Company It Keeps. By brother Craig Samuels. We interviewed him on the show a little while ago. Peace, sis Mel. Hadn't seen you in a while. We interviewed him on the show about a month ago or so. I think it was about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And he really did a beautiful job of breaking down what this looks like for us in our community, because everything that we need to look at needs to be Black first. We're Black women, we're Black men. That just has to be the way that it is, right? But there was something that he turned. I think this is chapter 8, but chapter 8, page 53. But he's talking about what I mentioned earlier, and I want you to just kind of reflect on this and think about how this manifests with us Black women even now. And it says it's about the developmental trauma disorder. This term recognizes the long-lasting impact that chronic, unpredictable, adverse childhood experiences have later in life on mental and physical well-being of those who have been objectified by abnormal realities. When you see this in a person or hear this coming from a person, just know that what you are witnessing, is their nonverbal and verbal trauma acting out and speaking out. What I'm taking from that is that I have to, when I encounter a sister, as I said, some of us come from different walks of life, so we have different experiences and different responses when it comes to events that happen within sisterhood, right? No matter what level you're on, is I have to practice a little bit more kindness sometimes, because I can be blunt. I can be very blunt. I admit that, and that is something that I'm working on. But if we handle, and I hate to say handle because we're not objects, but if we treat each other with more care, with more humility, I think that a lot of those hindrances or those traumas, first get therapy, but I think that a lot of those hindrances could be broken down. Sometimes we speak to each other in ways that are condescending. So it's harder for, a sister who feels like we're coming at her that way to receive anything when she's operating from that space of trauma or survival. What do you think about that, sis?
I think that's right. Because my daughters, your relationship with your daughters changes too as they grow older, and as well as with your mother as well. And so my daughters are beginning to, come to me for advice, and so I really have to watch what I say and how I say it. And sometimes they'll tell me, when I'm being too harsh or not understanding, and not taking into account their experience and their feelings and where they are now. Because I'm so old school with a lot of my thoughts and actions that I have to kind of adjust sometimes to accommodate, where we are right now. So yeah, so just my goal for 2023 is to be a better listener
Mm-hmm.
and be a better observer so that I can assess situations better. Uh, yeah, and Sister Mel said that's what we need, being truthful, and it's right. You can be truthful, and yeah, I agree. Uh, and that's why I'm trying to be a better listener so that I can be a little bit more gentler and being in that truth. I know people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it, but sometimes,
It's
you
both.
have to be harsh because I know sometimes when I'm talking to mine, they don't hear me if I'm saying, will you? I had to like, you need to, so you had to sometimes put some force behind that and mean what you say and say what you mean, and I think, it's so important for us to have safe spaces so that we can
Yes.
start the journey because a lot of times we haven't had safe spaces to be honest and truthful about what it is that we need and what it is how when we're healing, so we don't a lot of times understand what it is friendship is, what sisterhood is, because we think we know, so we
Mm-hmm.
put on and we act a certain way and we do certain things, but because we haven't really seen a pure and genuine example of it. When I was reading this book, she gave the history of feminism first and how it doesn't fit black women and how even womanism doesn't fit uh, black women,
Absolutely.
and why Africana womanism is what is really needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, even when we talk about sisterhood, we still look at it from a feminist perspective because I think a lot of women get in these sister circles and speak about the black man in a way that we don't need him, but African womanism realizes
Mm.
that it takes all of us.
We
It's a
need him.
man, woman, and child concept. And so, being genuine in that building of sisterhood, because there's this meme I love, I saved it on my phone. It said, stop using gossip as a form of bonding.
Come on now. That's right.
Y'all not friends, y'all messy adults. And so I think
Woo!
I think
Read,
a lot
read
of
that one
times
more time for the people in the back.
stop using gossip as a form of bonding. Y'all not friends, y'all messy adults.
Mm, mm,
And that just spoke to me because I think a lot of times if you really sit back and you
woo.
evaluate some of the people that you talk to on the daily, what is it that you're talking about? What is it that you texting? What is it that you're sharing? Is it really building or is it breaking? You
Yeah.
know, so trying to really because I'm getting older and I'm moving into the I don't want to say elder, but I'm getting there, and so I'm really reevaluating and really thinking through some things about all everything we talk about,
Yeah.
um, and the sisterhood and the daughters, because I work at a community college, and so I'm around a
Mm,
lot of young adults, and I see I see some things that's disturbing, and I hear
absolutely.
some things that's disturbing too. And as a mother of two, 20 something young women,
Mm-hmm.
I deal with it, personally. So uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, we have to start defining for ourselves what we need and be genuine in that.
And I think that is the most important factor. And so, two things as we go on. Um, I kept Mel's comment up for a second
Hmm.
because that is a big thing. That is a big, big issue when it comes to Black women, not just in the element of sisterhood, but even how a lot of Black women relate to Black men. There is this fear. I just have to say fear of truth or a term that I said previously back in the day, a lot of women have this love language of lies. They want to be lied to, and that's by the sisters, like you said, growing older and becoming messy adults. You're not really friends. So I think that's a hindrance to our growth and to our being able to accept truth is I need to hear a lie. I need you to tell me things that make me feel good instead of things that actually make me be good, make me become better. And so that's where a lot of that trauma bonding happens too. But one thing that I get chewed out for personally, that's why I tell you this all the time, and I'm going to say it again publicly. I'm so grateful for you. Do you hear me? I'm so grateful for you. Because you accept me as me. You understand sometimes you have to check me, and you do it in a way that's so sweet. I don't even get it till 2 days later sometimes. But you done kept me out of a lot of trouble. So thank you for that. But I think that that's a big thing too. It's like because of the honesty, we're brutally honest with each other. I have other sisters who I am brutally honest with. I have sisters who I realize I can't just keep in my life because of time, because I've known you, because as you said earlier, as I grow, as I come into knowing who I am and what I need for my life and for my peace and my happiness, there are certain relationships that I had to let go of, that I had to release. There are some more that I'm going to have to release because stagnancy is something that really bothers me. And so when I have sisters in my life who I feel don't want to do anymore, don't want to do better, want to fight, want to sit around, as you said, and just be messy adults, I can't do that because that's not my path. And true sisterhood, as the lady, one of the sisters shared in the beginning clip, is when you look at your sisters, they're my riders. That's my pack. We on the same path and on the same journey. That's how you flourish as a woman. That's how you come to respect femininity and not trying to get into this fake stuff, right? Because if you be what it is that you are, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to do any of that, So, and then not having to pretend, that greatly positively impacts your wellness as a woman. And when we're well, when we're healthy, when we're in a good mind space, especially when we're mothers or wives or just sisters or friends, we are better for everybody in our lives. Not we are the worst. And I could get into it. This book has some. Let me just plug it one more time. We're gonna talk about the witches, but I'm gonna try to stay. We're gonna stay away from that in this, but there's so much to it. So much to it. Peace to all the family coming in. I do see you all. We do see you. We thank you so much. The link to come on is in the description. If any ladies are interested in coming on, sharing your experiences, getting in on the conversation, feel free to do so. It is there. Absolutely, Sister Mel, holding each other accountable.
And I wanted to share, the meme I shared in the group the other day, things that can coexist, because I think a lot of times we think we have to be this perfect person, or other people think that you can't tell them anything because you're doing this and that. But we can, we can grow and make mistakes. That's how you grow, is by making mistakes, and you can learn and unlearn. And so some of the things that we have learned throughout our life, we have to unlearn those and do better. So, when you know better, you do better. When you do better, you are better. And that's something that I try to live by. So, yeah, of course, I made mistakes. Of course, I've done some things that, I shouldn't have done. I made some missteps, as we all have. Yes. But don't hold it against me, because I'm really trying to grow and evolve and be a better person, not just for myself, but for the race and the nation. So, those of us who think, hey, I think that's a lot of why we don't progress a lot of times, is because we're imperfection looking for perfection. And we're all on this journey.
I need a couple sisters to hear that. We're what, Sister Crystal?
Imperfection looking for perfection. And so we have to, rethink that and really mature and grow in that area. So, I really am on this journey. Brother Craig has been like
Is
amazing.
He not the best?
Amazing. And I give thanks for him and our paths crossing, because he is my coach, checks on me, and Sister Millie, you as well. And then there are a couple other people who check on me just to make sure I'm still on task and doing what it is that we need done as a village. So yeah, We gotta get back on task, because if we don't, like I wrote in the description, Black women, and one of the sisters said it in the clip, when we get together, we are a force, we are a power. We say the Black woman is God, and we like all love all the accolades, but with those accolades
Where's
comes
the action?
responsibility. Yes, and action. And so, Professor Small, we had the power. We had the power. The mother, the woman is the first teacher. You
I
teach
say.
a man, you teach a person, you teach a woman, you teach a nation.
That's right.
So, y'all, we got to get it together so that we can survive
That's
and
right.
thrive.
That's right. And thank you. Absolutely. There's no way around it. There's truly no way around it, family. And just just gonna keep it, like I said, chime in anytime you want to. I'm gonna come back to, but we have to look at the resources that are for us and understand what we need for our community, for our children, for our people in general, right? And feminism is not one of those things. It is not. There are so many. I'm gonna get back to a post that I shared, and I mean, because there's just too much. See, where you have women who have allowed themselves to get caught up in the trap of so-called integration, assimilation, like as you said, and all these other things, and you wanting to be like somebody else, another race, not wanting to be yourself and practice your own. And some will say, well, we don't know our culture, we don't know where we come from. Innately, sisters, Black women, you know who you are. You know who you are. Once, like Sister Crystal said, once you begin to unlearn those unhealthy things, and let go of things in your nature, you'll get there because you know who you are. Your culture in that sense is what you create. Do you want to continue to allowing your culture to be of a people who truly are less than, who are immoral? Is that what you want? You want to practice that to continue to live in a way where there's this whole strong woman mentality. We don't need a man. No other woman says that. No other woman says that. And you wonder why there's so many Black women running around here struggling mentally, struggling, and all this, these coaches popping out. I'm going to teach you how to be feminine. Who teaches you how to be feminine? Who? I that really bothers me when I see those things. Like, well, I'm going to, people making all this money off. Well, I'm going to teach you how to be a woman. No, either you are or you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And forgive me, because I know, and again, that's my crassness, as some people will say, or me being a bully, but I just want to be honest. Some of us didn't grow up seeing our mothers doing certain things, we didn't, have those experiences, but you probably watched the Cosby Show, so you saw a little bit, so I ain't gonna give you no pass, right? You saw something. I know that's still, she's assimilating too, but anyway, you saw things that gave you a better example of what womanhood is. So, and we talked a little bit about before about why sometimes when that is an issue, women become hardened because they've been put in positions where they had to be more masculine, where they had to take on more masculine roles. And it's not always the woman's fault. It's not always necessarily anybody's fault. It's the trauma. It's epigenetics. There's so much to it with us. We are a special case. And like you said, we have to, because of that, we have to define systems and structures within our culture that aid us, that heal us, right? That increase our immune system because we're putting the right things into ourselves. We're finding the right resources. Older sisters are doing the things they need to be better examples, right? So those are some things that we need to change. And first and bottom line, feminism, again, I can't stress that enough, is not for Black women. It never was. It never will be. A Black woman walking around saying she is a feminist it blows my mind. I don't even get it. That just shows me your true lack of understanding of who you are. So yeah, that's where I am on that.
Yeah, in this book, African Womanism, it was first published in 1993, and I just heard about it last year. And I had a conversation with the author because she's from Memphis. She's from Memphis, and but she teaches at the University of Missouri, I think it is. But there's a whole chapter where she goes into the history of feminism and why it does not work for African women. And she actually says that on page 13, white feminists have done in reality, what white feminists have done in reality was to take the lifestyle and techniques of African women activists and use them as models or blueprints for the framework of their theory, and then name, define, and legitimatize it as the only real substantive movement for women. And so she says that we're duplicating the duplicate. So when we say that
Mm.
we're feminists, we're really taking something that they've tweaked to fit their specific needs to fight their men. And we're if we knew who we were and where we came from, we would say, wait a minute, that's not what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to work in tandem with our men against them because they've always fought with their men. As I said, Brother Craig can attest to this. That book, They Were Her Property, is we just finished the chapter about white women fighting their men to have control of their enslaved people, and so they've always been fighting each other, and now we've taken on that, not realizing that they're fighting each other for control of who's going to oppress us, who's going to have the power to oppress everybody and control everything around them. And so when we
Absolutely.
think about that and we look at the 18 tenets of African womanism, with genuine sisterhood being one of them, we will understand, that we are the foundation. The family is the foundation, but we are a big part of that. And like I said, when we come together and we start implementing these 18 standards, there's sisterhood, there's male compatibility, we're flexible role players, like you said. Sometimes we do have to step up and do some things that are not feminine in nature, but we realize that we're resilient and we have to do that. But when the time comes, we step back and we do something else. We're the nurturers, we're the peacekeepers, and there is honor. And I hate the society and the culture now because there is honor. I saw one sister say it's a divine assignment to be a mother. It's a divine assignment to be a nurturer. It's a divine assignment to be a healer. It's a divine assignment to be a teacher. Yeah, it is. I'm at a great space and place in my life where I'm loving it. I'm loving being a Gigi to all our babies. I'm loving being a mama to the younger generation. It's really fulfilling. And I think if more of us understood that divine assignment, we would be happier. We wouldn't be as depressed. We wouldn't be thinking that we're not completing a task, because you would be. Trust me, you would be. Yeah. Sister Mel, the name of the book is Africana Womanism by Clenora Hudson Wings. And I encourage you all to purchase a copy.
Get it. That's the book that Sister Tanisha referred to, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She referred to the ISIS papers as well.
Yes. And another one that I think I know all Black women should have in our inventory. Absolutely. Cutting it. She probably made good it. All right. So, powerful. And Brother Anthony said that a lot of women don't know the difference between feminism and divine femininity.
Yes.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think Sister Crystal just really touched on that, where that comes from. And y'all get tired of me talking about certain things, but I'm gonna keep doing it. I love you, and that's why I'm gonna just keep doing it. Okay.
Right.
But I think that is a big thing. And the feminism is really more masculine. It's women practicing masculinity. But when you think about a people who have that type of barbaric fire ant culture, who even when it comes to love, they're warring. There has to be, and that's where that term comes from. Opposites attract, right? That's a white Caucasian thing, right? Whatever, YouTube, whatever. That's their thing. Ours is being another great book that will contribute to our wellness is being a complement to each other, because that's naturally what we are. And Dr. Baba Baruti goes on. I call everybody doctor because they just right? But he goes into great. This is an excellent book too. I just advise, even when it comes to sisterhood, because a great impact on sisterhood is the way that we treat our men, because we have to think about something. Younger sisters are watching it, even sisters our age are watching it. We learn from each other. And sometimes we don't want to speak up and say, I need help. But if we're being that example, you're giving that help. You're still doing your duty as a sister, right? And sometimes they may not come out and say it publicly. They may, I get a lot of, I post something and they won't say it on there, or I'm on this live and we're having a discussion. I look at my phone, I got 3 texts. Hey, what about this? What about this? And it's because, and I still try to answer, even though it irritates me, and I've said that before, but I still try to answer, because if I'm being of assistance to you in any way, and if you know me, you know I'm going to fuss about it, but I'm going to do what needs to be done, because again, I want for you, sisters, what I want for myself, and that is peace, that is healing through sisterhood, that is just honing in our ability to be able to define sisterhood, as Sister Crystal said, for whatever stage of life that we are in, because it does change. It does change. And when you do so gracefully, we don't end up in those situations where we got 60-year-old women online twerking because they try to still be competitive with teenage younger sisters, the babies, as I would call them, who are doing those things in their mind for fun. So, and thank you for putting those books up there, sis.
Mm-hmm.
Peace, Brother Jess. How you doing? I'm going to just put this back up here, too, just to make sure you all get it. But, of course, it will be in the chat for sure. And we spoke on Doc Samuel's book, too. We'll put that up there.
Yeah, I'm typing it right in.
I said I know she's on it. So, wow. I mean, there is really so much that we can there is so much that we can get into as it relates to sisterhood. I don't want to keep you all too long. But my hope is that, as we begin to define what type of sisterhood we need, through life, and as we learn, that we take this competition out of it completely. I was out today, and when I tell y'all, I love men. Nothing but the black man for me. I ain't never been with a woman who, I love my sisters, but not in that way ever. Don't see it. Doesn't work. It's not science. Doesn't make sense to me. Do what you do, but it doesn't work for me. No, don't stop doing it. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna get somewhere else. Okay, I'm sorry. That's me. That's something else. Listen, I'm sorry. I was out today. And when I said these were some natural, I saw some black women that were so beautiful. I was like a man. I was like, woo. I almost said, damn. Because they were gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a problem approaching a woman saying, sister, you are beautiful. I don't have a problem saying somebody has a nice body. I personally love the female body. And I love when we work on it, the changes that we see. And, I often say, like, I never want to leave this earth never knowing the full power of my body, of my being as a woman, right? My strength. I never want to not know what that is. But I don't want to dismiss anything. Another beautiful thing, or a thing that I think that I hope that we adopt, is our physical wellness. Spiritual, mental, physical wellness too, all of those things. And those are bonding practices that can happen through sisterhood. I've met a lot of sisters personally who have reached out simply because, hey, I need help with this, and built strong relationships because of that. Mm-hmm. And when sometimes they ask me things, I don't know everything, I'm still learning. It makes me better. So this sister reaching out to me to say, hey, I need help with this. And maybe I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't know. I had to go find out. So in her quest for information, she made me go seek information. And there's this continual cycle of making each other better. There's no competition there. Competition is the number one thing with Black women that destroys our mental wellness. It destroys us physically too, because instead of doing the things that we need to do to be better, we go and buy cover-ups.
Mm-hmm.
We can't take pictures without filters, even though we say, oh, I'm just playing. No, it's not. It's not. You're doing that because of your insecurities. And again, that's another avenue. Let's start being more honest as sisters, being more honest with each other, being able to accept honesty and correction or direction from another sister who may know a little bit more, right? But again, let's just kill that spirit, that energy of competition. It's not necessarily. We truly are all we have. No other women again is out here throwing her man to the wolves. I mean, I know the white women fight with theirs, but they still gonna be by their side. They're still gonna support those men. They're still gonna do whatever they got to do to build them. But because Black women have that spirit of competition, some even go to compete with their man because they feel like they can do that role better. So I just want us to get better. I want us to be well. I want sisterhood, as Sister Crystal said, to be genuine. To be genuine. And that starts with being genuine with yourself, starts with forgiving mothers, aunts, grandmothers, whoever, for trauma that happened to you, starts with, getting therapy, and most of all, being accountable and honest. I think that is just very necessary. That's my little rant there. So I apologize for that. It just sometimes happens. You're welcome, sis. And you're welcome to click that link if anybody wants to come on and the time for you to do that. The link to the StreamYard is in the chat. If any of you would like to come on and share, we will definitely, specifically sisters. I know some brothers probably want to come on, but this is about sisterhood. So there may be an experience that you've had that may help somebody else. So I think y'all know both sisters, Crystal and I, are very, very, very transparent.
I don't know if it's Sister Mila. Okay. It's probably me.
It's the internet.
It's the internet. Yeah, it's not either one of us.
We're here. So I'm gonna read a couple of these comments. Sister Mel says, "I have learned my." Yes, it's just it. Y'all know, like I said, we was talking about something ratchet. We would have no issues whatsoever, none. But I'm gonna read a couple of comments. Sister Mel says, "I have learned my healing journey is not a destination. I have to respect the process and knowing it's a lifetime journey." Ashe. Absolutely, sis. And I met Sis Mel, maybe 7 years ago. She is from not Nigeria. The beautiful hair, Somalia. I think Somalia. Anyway, she's from Africa. This is from the continent. So, yeah. But we met her very, very genuine. No matter what has happened, Mel has been a consistent factor. Even when she disappears, she's still consistent. And Brother Jess, because like Sister Crystal said, we don't have to talk every day to be where we are. We've grown, we got lives, but we're here for each other. Brother Jess says, most women don't mature past 14 or 15-year-old mentality and do not know it. We need sisters to help sisters. Now, I know a lot of y'all are probably mad right now. And y'all want to say something mean to Brother Jess, but I know Brother Jess, and he means well.
He means well, yes.
He's not incorrect. He's not incorrect. And it shows because, as Sister Crystal said in that meme she shared, you're not being mature women by gospel, you're being messy adults. And that's what happens. And what he's talking about, there's a term for it. It is called arrested development. That's one of the many reasons why sisterhood is so difficult for a lot of Black women, because of that. It's arrested development. That's why a lot of relationships, why it's difficult sometimes to relate to Black men, because it happens on both ends. It happens with men and it happens with women. But he's not incorrect, so I can't dispute that. Truth is true.
Yeah, and I think now we living into society where everybody wants to be youth. We don't know how to age gracefully anymore. And and we do know more than, I ain't gonna say no more. We are, not aging as fast as we used to. We are looking better. We are taking better care of our health and of our wellness. So yes, we do look great to be, in our 40s and 50s. but we have to learn how to age gracefully. Just because I can wear it, my aunt Gwen used to say all the time, just because they make it in your size doesn't mean you have to wear it. And
Please.
just because you can doesn't mean you should sometimes.
That's
And
right.
so, how can we be an example to our young ladies when we're out here doing the same thing, behaving the same way? We can't.
Absolutely.
We can't, y'all. We have to age gracefully and be examples and role models to our
Absolutely.
younger generation. I try. I try. Sometimes, I slip. We all learning and unlearning,
We're
learning,
human.
unlearning, and learning. So, I do. That was one thing I did take from the women in my life was aging gracefully and being a role model.
I agree with that fully. I agree. I agree with that so much. I can't heart it because I'm on the show. But if I could, them hearts are powerful.
Hmm.
If I could, I would. I totally agree with that, and I think that's the beautiful thing. Aging gracefully.
And it's rewarding, y'all, because sometimes I'll get a text from Sister Tanisha or Sister Simone out the blue, and it is like beautiful. Especially, Sister Tanisha, she's so great. I wish she could have
I
been on
love her.
tonight. Mama Crystal and the boys are my babies, and
Hmm.
so she's so full of wisdom for to be a young woman, and just to
Yes, she
have
is.
her compliment me and look and talk about how I'm a mama. I mean, I really am embracing this season and stage of my life. It's sometimes it's difficult because it's that age where I'm losing a lot of loved ones and those dear to
Yeah,
me, but at the same time I'm embracing that person that I'm supposed to be at this
that's right.
stage. And it's beautiful, y'all. It's a divine assignment. I just can't say that enough because
Okay.
I think sometimes we get burdened. We think it's a burden. We think motherhood and taking care of our home and our family is a burden, and it's not, y'all. It's a blessing and one we should cherish. Like Brother Craig said, life is a process.
I'm
And
sure.
so, you know, knowing that, we were created to take care of our families, oh,
Hmm.
that's big for me. And because I'm just gonna be honest and transparent. I'm not gonna give that 9 to 5 as much time and energy as I give my family. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So, they are more important to me than that. So yeah, it's beautiful. And then when you understand that and you understand how everything works together and you understand, you have these women in your life that are on the same path and have the same understanding. That's a beautiful thing. Sister Millie, uh, we met. It's strange how some of my friendships have formed and been created, but it
Hmm.
was organic and um
Absolutely.
and so it's beautiful. Our friendship has grown and blossomed throughout the years, and I appreciate you for being honest with me because yeah,
Hmm.
sometimes y'all I'm like ah!
We all, both of us, trust me, trust,
Yeah,
and it's so necessary. I mean, wow. I'm trying not to start a whole other show because I have like 5 things that just popped in my head. But
yeah. And I
we're
do
gonna
want to say,
go ahead.
if some of the sisters, if you're looking for a group of women, Mama Ya Baruti hosts a
Yes,
sister circle every quarter, and y'all, it's beautiful.
powerful.
Yes, it's beautifully powerful. It's a thing. There is a theme every quarter, and it's women of all ages. We come on, we gather on, and we just talk about that
Mhm.
issue. Mama Ya, you will lead it and you don't have to say anything. You can just come in and soak up all the wisdom
Yeah,
that's being shared by some of the elders. They are beautiful. I
beautiful. Yes.
always leave feeling refreshed. Uh,
Hmm.
it's those type of sister circles that I want to be a part of. Where you coming in and you receiving so much that you leave full and you ready
Hmm.
to go out there and
Hmm.
make the nation better.
Absolutely. And what Mama in the Yah is doing is what we just talked about. Maybe there wasn't a type of sisterhood there. She created it. She
Mm-hmm.
defined it for us. And I attended my first sister circle and looking forward to the next one in May.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It really was. And I was texting Sister Crystal during, don't tell nobody, during like, wow, and even after building on it, it was very, very powerful, very needed. And we need that. Like Sister Crystal, it's renewing. You know, because sometimes there are things in your head or, you know, thoughts that you may have that, again, you don't really know how to articulate it. But when you hear someone else articulated, who you know is wise, you know, who you know has good intentions for sharing with you, it's powerful, and it's definitely renewing, and is what we need. So absolutely. Peace, Brother Llewell. Glad you
Mhm.
joined us. We see you. We see you. I wanted to go back to one other comment, kind of touching on Arrested Development. Sister
Mhm.
Nikki said, emotions block critical thinking. And you know, it's said, it's the truth, that women are typically more emotional and men are logical. So what she said is almost it's I guess you could say nature. But again, it's not something that we can't correct, because once you are aware of an issue, you should have the tools or create the tools that you need, or go seek the tools or the counsel that you need to be able to address those things. So, and that's something we have to get out of, operating in that. You know, that's one beautiful thing about you and I, our relationship, because you know it's okay to get those things out and feel it, but what's the logic in it? What's going to be effective in this situation? You know, and you stay on me too with that, and you got to move forward with that. What's the effective thing to do in this situation? Yeah, you could do this. You could put somebody on blast. You could whatever. But and I'm like, dang, why you got to be right? I need that. Seriously, we all need it, because think about if I was in a sister circle with people who were just the opposite. Think about how different my life would be. You know, how out of order and imbalanced what my life would be if I didn't choose the sisters who are in my circle better. So accountability, again, accountability is going to keep coming up, because you know, we can't get into this thing where we're always just saying it's my mama's fault, it's my
Mhm.
granny's fault, it's some. No, you are a grown woman. I understand the rest of development is a thing, but you are a grown woman. And when you are a woman, you need to put away, as the Bible said, no childish thing. I'm not talking about a man, but us too. Put it away. You got to learn how to do better at this point. And just one other thing, when you were talking about the work and family, it is so fulfilling to be able to cook for my family, to take care of my family. And again, being a mother, being a woman is such an honor. There's
Mhm.
so much power in your innate femininity. There's so much power there. And one thing I used to tell, I think I told you about this before, but it got to a point where I was asked to take so much home, so much work home. I literally went to I was a speech therapist. I forget where I was, but I went to her and I said, "Well, can I take? Can I bring my laundry to work? Can I wash my dishes at work? Well, while I'm taking all this work home, you know, work has to be work. I know sometimes things have to do what we have to do, but family has to be family. And a lot of women will use that as an excuse. Well, I can't be soft. I can't be. I got to get out and work. Yeah, it's not our nature to do it. But in this economy, more than likely,
Mhm.
people are going to have to hold that
Oh yeah.
house down, right? That's just what it is. And again, figure out how to lean on your sisters when you do need those emotional supports, as opposed to putting that more on the man, because that, you know, creates an imbalance and takes away from.
And and you know, and you said something. And I'm gonna start talking. But last month I went to a women's conference, and a lot of it was about balancing your life and all this, but nothing was said about family. It was all
Yeah.
focused on work. And
Mhm.
and you know, when I go to these things, I'm always looking at, stuff with my third eye now. And I'm like, they ain't saying anything about, family life and how to be a better person at home and for your family. And so when we had our breakout session, I was like, okay, y'all, this is what I do. I have boundaries. I
Mhm.
always take my lunch break away from the desk. I I leave. I leave the workspace on my lunch break. Usually I take a walk if the weather permits. I never take work home with me. I get to
Mhm.
work on time most times. Sometimes I'm a little late, but I'm leaving on time. I'm not staying. Don't ask me to stay.
Mhm.
I'm done. This is time. Now it's time for me to, put on my other cape and go and do for my family, because like it is enjoyable for me. And I wanted to share because Sister Felicia said up at the top of the program, she said, "True, it's about being good." Hold on, these pop-ups. I've lost a lot of sisters becoming a better person. And
Mm.
I used to kind of like when I started my journey, and I was like, okay, it's about black first. I'm a black woman. I'm unapologetic, and I'm gonna be unapologetic in any space I occupy. People started falling off. And
Yeah.
so,
Oh,
I
big
was
time,
like,
big time.
okay, what am I, maybe I don't need to do this. But no, what's that saying? The ancestors, I tried to be quiet, but the ancestors wouldn't let me.
Let me.
And so I just couldn't not be who it is that I am. And
That's
but I'm finding that when you are righteous and you're on task and you're focused, the right people will come into your life. It's
gosh.
divine synchronicity. They will come into your life. I'm learning that more and more uh every day. Every day. You know, staying focused, not being distracted. Brother Craig, I gotta give a shout out to Brother Craig again, because those distractions,
Mm-hmm.
man, they will take you off course. And then when you're off course, you're not going to have those people come into your life that are supposed to be there. So, I just want to say, Sister Felicia, yes, that is so true. But
Mm-hmm.
the right sisters will come into your life. So,
That's right.
yeah, just stay on task and stay on course and you know, being the best person that you can be, you'll attract that same type of energy.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely living proof. I just because I knew them, never held that. There comes a time when actually go the way they're supposed to go. Don't fight against it. That is your evolution. You are growing, and it's okay. So if people tend to walk away, there's purpose. They knew what they needed to do. They probably understood they weren't a part of your assignment anymore. So don't take it personally when that happens.
Mhm.
Just be grateful. Be grateful for your growth, that you're here, that you're starting, give and be service. So
I
that's
just wanted to
that
highlight
rift
that too.
virus,
Hmm.
radical individualism and feminism that basically drives the culture and economy for others, but we lack in our divine assignment. Ashe, Ashe.
Okay. And a lot of times I'll add, it's kind of like what Mama Ya and Ya said on this last sister circle. A lot of us think our divine assignment has to be something grand and spectacular and extravagant,
Absolutely.
when
Mm-hmm.
actually it doesn't. If you just do what you do in a righteous and
Do
genuine
what you
nature,
do.
you are doing what it is that you do. So
You definitely
yeah,
do.
so just be comfortable. You don't have to be out here, you know, whatever. You can
Yes.
just be like reading to your children every every night.
Mm-hmm.
Your family is your divine assignment. So, first of all, uh, and then you go from there. And sometimes, it just spreads abroad. Sometimes your passion becomes just contagious, and then it just does explode. But a lot of times, like today, I highlighted mama. Her name is, I think, Christine Wigfall Morris. She was a
Yeah.
librarian
Mm-hmm.
in Clearwater, Florida, and she was the first black librarian in the state, I think, or in the city. But it was something because she had never been in a library before because of segregation. But what she did, she equipped a whole generation of children with reading literacy. And so, who knew? I just happened to be looking up black librarians one day and came across her name. And there are countless others that we'll never know their story, but they did for the culture and for the people. And so many unsung
Absolutely.
heroes that we don't know about because they're not what we consider grand, and they aren't the Maya Angelou's or the Ella Bakers or the Fannie Lou Hamers, but they made a difference. And so we all have to understand that we all have an assignment. It may not be as big as someone else's, but we all have one.
That's right. That's right. We all have an assignment, a divine assignment. We absolutely do. And it starts with your family. That is your First Nation sisters.
Right.
So that is where we have to start. So I hope that that everyone, thank you. I'm glad you all got something from it. I appreciate it. I'm just happy you all tuned in tonight.
Yeah, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as
That's
well.
right. That's right. That's right. Make sure you subscribe, and also subscribe to Sister Crystal's channel too. She just read Black with me, so she's going to be highlighting some Black authors, Black entertainers, people who are doing things related to reading, because that is part of your divine assignment. So, and as Baba Baruti said, you are doing an excellent job being a frontline librarian. So, and we appreciate you for that. That's another part of sisterhood, adding to our intelligence and our knowledge, and you do that very diligently on a regular basis, daily, really. And that requires time. And when we take time for anything, that means that we're doing it out of love. So let's just continue to reciprocate that, support ourselves, each other, and focus on building real sisterhoods, genuine sisterhoods. And as you shared earlier in the broadcast, if you are, in a situation where, you find yourself with messy adults, get out of it. You have the power to change it. You have the power to change your environment and your surroundings, because again, if you stay in those situations, you are negatively impacting your health and wellness, and that is not a good look for you, for your family, and for the collective. So I just appreciate everybody again coming on. Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Sis Nikki. Thank you, Sis Rose. Sis Rose says she's late, but she's watch the replay. It will be here, sis. And I know we didn't cover everything, but the main thing that I hope that you all take away is we have to define what sisterhood looks like for us right now. Do the necessary work to make sure that we are a positive part of that sisterhood and not negative, right? And accountability, accountability, accountability. I can't stress, it's my favorite word. I can't stress it enough, because it has changed my life. Let me tell you, it has changed my life physically, woo, mentally and spiritually. So I'm just grateful. I'm also in a good space, sis. Great sisters, you, many others. I'm grateful for that. To those who have fallen off, I'm grateful for that too. It's a journey. It's a process. That's right. So, did you have anything you wanted to close with, sis?
I don't. Well, I will be speaking with Sister Rhonda, the poet, the Black poet. I love her. She's out of Baltimore. I'll be talking with her Monday at 6:00. So if you all are interested in, because next month is Poetry Month, National Poetry Month, but I wanted to speak with her because we want to lead into it and what it doesn't mean, because we have a lot of beautiful, beautiful Black poets and poetry out there that we don't even know about, y'all. I'm still learning. That's one thing I do love what I do. I'm passionate about it, and so we'll be talking about that because she's great. She's great. So just tune in.
She is, and anybody supporting our babies at Ashe, they are right in my book. So you are right in my book anyway, but definitely are right in my book if you do what you're doing right by our babies. So with that said, family, we're going to go ahead and end this broadcast. Again, thank you all for joining in, and thank you in advance to those who will catch the replay later. And as always, it applies at any point, at all points, because again, when you're well, your family is well. So if you remember nothing else, sisters and brothers, nothing, absolutely nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels. Until next time, peace.
Peace.